So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to increase your surface area of luck using PR, as I believe that PR is incredibly impactful and effective in regards of how you are able to increase your surface area of luck. And it's been a industry I've been in for a decade now, so I've experienced it firsthand, and I've also experienced it when working with clients as well, the compounding effects and how that ultimately aligns with more additional opportunity that you didn't think was feasible or possible. So I'm a really big believer in PR, and to be honest, some may label it as bias, but I've been incorporating a lot of the things I do with my clients to myself personally, and I feel that there has been a transition in regards to the amount of people who are coming across my content or the people that I've had the privilege of meeting as of recent. And I owe it to the idea of incorporating the aspects of PR to increase my surface area of luck. And as I continue to do that, the more wider the net would be, and ultimately the more lucky I will be. So I put this together just to share more insights into the how and the why, and I'll listed out a couple of examples that you can incorporate within your brand as well. So before I get started, please do like, comment, subscribe, and I hope that you find this video incredibly useful. But let's just get straight into it. So, most people think luck is random. They look at successful founders, consultants, and industry experts and assume those people were simply in the right place at the right time. And in some cases, that is true. However, the reality is very different. Luck is not random, right? Luck has a surface area. And the bigger your surface area, the more opportunities people have a chance to find you and to discover you. So that is what the video is about. And by the end, you will understand why PR is one of the most effective ways to increase your surface area of luck. Build authority and create opportunities that you would never have found otherwise. Right. So when we get started, let's just get started with the real definition of luck. So before we even talk about PR, we need to redefine what luck actually is. So most people see something like luck as something external, something that happens to them, something they have no control over. But I disagree. I believe that luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. And preparation is everything you build in private, right? So alongside my journey of building a seven-figure brand within 1,000 days, there are many spinning plates that I work through on a daily basis that is things that people will never see, right? And I believe that is the aspects of when the preparation part comes into it. So things like you building up your skill set, your experience, your expertise, your results, all those things are the things that you build within yourself in order to build and prepare, right? And alongside that, the opportunity is everything that happens outside our control, essentially. So that can be anything from a introduction, a podcast invitation, a journalist inquiry, the speaking engagement, or even a referral. So we are not in control of that because we are not the one to dictate whether that thing happens. It's always based on someone else, right? And I think that's incredibly important for something that you need to bear in mind. And luck happens when those two things meet, and preparation without opportunity stays hidden. And in this aspect of things, being hidden just means that you are not visible to the right people. And if you're not visible, despite the fact that you are credible within the work that you do, it's going to be a lot more harder for people to identify you as that key person of influence and the obvious choice that I speak about often. So, opportunity without preparation gets wasted, right? The challenge is that most people spend all their time developing expertise and almost no time increasing the likelihood that opportunities will actually find them. And that part is incredibly true because you can be the best person in your field, right? In terms of the most knowledgeable or the one that has the most expertise. But if no one knows you and you haven't positioned yourself to increase your service area of luck, it will only go to the person that is most visible in the grand scheme of things. So this creates what I call the invisible expert problem, right? You can be exceptional at what you do and still be overlooked, not because you lack ability, but because you lack visibility. And the market cannot reward expertise it cannot find. And from a simple Google search, if they even search your name and they can't find you, then it's not going to be something that they're going to look further to justify why they should select you over someone else who ultimately has a better digital footprint than you. And you need to think of that carefully and wisely when it comes to the approach of building your brand. Because with you building your brand is very much synonymous with building your digital identity and your digital footprint. And with that, there's a lot of things that you need to incorporate to make it a lot more easier for people to find you from a simple Google search result. And now that we are in the age and the era of AI, right, and generative engine optimization, otherwise known as GEO, a lot of the content that we produce and a lot of the search engine results that are publicized is now on these AI tools that we use often. ChatGPT, Perplexity, right? Claude, all of those tools are now in a position where the large language models are scraping the actual Google search rankings on a daily basis. So then, if you are not positioned as a key person of influence and the obvious choice in your field by a simple Google search, it will be a lot more harder for it to translate through you being visible on these AI tools as well. So, luck does not find invisible people, it finds prepared people who made themselves discoverable. And I want you to remember that as I continue. So, as we get into understanding your surface area of luck, right? Your surface area of luck is the number of places where your expertise can potentially collide with opportunity. So, think of it like fishing. If I use fishing, I've never been fishing before personally. I will do at some stage, I think that'll be quite interesting. But if you have one fishing line in the water, your chances are incredibly limited that you will get the fish, right? That you'll get the opportunity. But if you have 10 lines in the water, your chances increase significantly. And the same principle applies to visibility, right? Every platform, every relationship, every article, every podcast, every speaking engagement, every media mention, every partnership, each one adds another line into the water. And that's what you need to think about it. When you then have so many lines in the water based on all the various different things that you are incorporating to improve on your identity, your digital footprint, your reputation, right? Those are the things that are going to help increase your surface area of luck. And the more places your expertise exists, the more opportunities you have a chance for people to find you, right? So, why luck lives inside other people? And that's something that I wanted to cover quickly because for me personally, I really do feel that luck is something that involves everyone in the process. I feel like for you to be in a position of luck involves you having relationships with different people, right? Being able to have that human to human interaction and that relationship building in a way where when these opportunities present themselves, there is someone out there who has thought about you or has considered you for the said opportunity just off the bat that you have been perceived as the key person of influence and the obvious choice. So when it gets to that side of things, luck for me is very much synonymous with the idea of just being more well known, well liked, and more credible alongside other people within your industry and your niche, and also people who also check your content and look into the work that you're doing. And that's why I'm a big advocate when I say to produce the content and reinforce that content with the PR opportunity that is presented to you as a way to continue to increase your surface area of luck as well. But let me continue. So, this is where most people misunderstand visibility. They believe opportunities come from algorithms, right? But most opportunities come through people, as I mentioned already. So it could be a journalist who remembers your name. It could be a podcast host who recommends you to someone else. It could be an event organizer who saw your content and said, we want to work with you. It could be a client who was referred to you, and it could be a partner who introduced you to someone valuable, right, in the process. So people carry your reputation, and every time your name is mentioned in a room you are not in, your surface area of luck expands, right? Every time. So when you think about it, every time your name is mentioned, and ultimately that's what you want to happen for your name to be mentioned in a positive light, right? In a light that makes you recognized as you are the go to person. And despite you not being in the room at that moment in time, people are still acknowledging your efforts, and they're still appreciating all the work that you're doing, and they want to see you win. When you build that surface area of luck based on you building great relationships of people who genuinely want to see you win, that changes everything when it comes down to the aspects of building a brand. And then you have to also think that is why relationships matter. Not because networking is important as a concept, but because reputation travels through people, right? Reputation travels through people. And it's in your best interest to meet, collaborate, and work with different people. Work with different people, gain new perspectives, gain new ideas, and gain new connections in the process of you building and establishing your brand. And the founders who appear lucky are often the ones whose name consistently appear in conversations they are not part of, right? So the consultant invited onto the podcast, or the advisor referred to for opportunities, or the expert quoted in the media, or even the speaker recommended for events. So for this section, I just want you to ask yourself, how many people could accurately explain who you help, what you do, and why it matters? And that number is a rough indicator of your current luck surface area. And then when you are honest with yourself based on that, then you are then able to intentionally improve it and build it over time. So also remember, your reputation should be creating opportunities while you are not in the room, right? So where PR enters the picture. So everything discussed so far leads directly into PR as far as I'm concerned. Most people think PR is simply media coverage. I don't believe so. I believe it is the aspects of media coverage alongside so many other elements. Media coverage is simply one output of the aspects of PR. PR is the systematic expansion of your surface area of luck. It is the process of increasing the number of places where your expertise can be discovered, validated, and remembered. So remember, PR creates credibility, visibility, and discoverability. And when it comes down to the idea of building your brand authority, as you know, is your personal brand multiplied by your business brand, multiplied by your campaign brand, when you are able to use the aspects of PR to build all those brands, right? And to incorporate PR within your campaign brand in order to reinforce both your personal brand and your business brand, then that leads into so much more opportunity. So coverage is simply the evidence that those things are working, right? It showcases that your personal brand is working. It showcases your business brand is working. And it showcases that people are aware of your campaign as you continue to grow and navigate and to build to showcase to people exactly who you are and why you are the key person of influence and the obvious choice. So, 6 ways PR expands your surface area of luck. So I wanted to kind of go through 6 particular ways that you can just start yourself in real time in terms of being able to increase your surface area of luck. So number one, podcast appearances. So important. And I'm very much looking forward to being involved in more podcasts this year as well. So please stay tuned and I'll be sure to update you all. And if you are not connected with me or following me on LinkedIn, check out my LinkedIn because I always share a lot of content on there, as well as my Substack as well. And I usually provide all the updates on my LinkedIn. But either way, podcast audiences already trust the host, right? So you need to remember that. So when you are invited onto a podcast, you borrow that trust instantly. And that's when I talk about that level of borrowed credibility. And you gain access to a community that would otherwise take years to build yourself. And one conversation can continue generating opportunities for years after it was recorded. So with that, get on those podcasts, establish a list of all the various different podcasts that align with not only yourself as a brand, but also your ICP as well. Become immersed in that ecosystem and be known as that person that can provide that level of value based on the things that you talk about and based on the things that you are passionate about and that you care about, right? And then also your media coverage. So when a journalist quotes you, an expert, or something important happens and you are referred to be the person to provide commentary on that, your credibility is no longer self-declared, right? It becomes third-party validated. So the market does not just hear you say that you are credible, right? It hears someone else say it. That changes buyer perception in a way your own content simply cannot replicate. And I talk about this all the time, and I always use the example of a chef. I could say I'm the best chef in the UK, right? And you may look at that and think I'm being quite braggadocious, right? But in actual fact, if I was presented on various different publications as the best chef in the UK, then all of a sudden that perception changes. And then you look at me in a different light and you think, you know what? If other people are saying that Tariq is the best chef in the UK, then there has to be some truth to it because it's on these publications. There has to be some truth to it. And that's the same thing that applies when it comes down to the media coverage that you are working towards securing for yourself, because it adds an additional layer and level of credibility that you can't get anywhere else. You're not paying for that level of credibility. You can't pay for that level of credibility. And then thirdly, speaking engagements. So speaking gives you concentrated access to relevant audiences, and you are not interrupting people with your message. You are being invited to educate them, right? That is the difference. Trust is important in that aspect, and you've been trusted to showcase and share your insights. So any speaking engagements I'm involved with myself is an opportunity for me to talk about the Phases brand authority system, how I developed it, why it's important for me, what I think it will do, and how I think it will shape the actual aspect of all things branding, marketing, and PR in the UK, right? I've been invited to talk about these things and I have been invited to speak about these things. So it's an opportunity for me to showcase myself, but to also showcase my business, my philosophy, my methodology, my mindset, all the things that I know can be something that people are able to gauge who I am from. That opportunity is something that I bring to the table. And then also strategic partnerships. So partnerships allow your credibility to travel through someone else's network. Authority transfers through association, right? The right partnership can introduce you to hundreds of thousands of relevant people who would never have found you otherwise. And the strategic partnership is important, as that is something that aligns with the phases framework as well. But then it's also something that is just incredibly important. It still aligns with the idea of meeting people, connecting with people, collaborating with people. When you then have strategic partnerships of people who are on the same mission as you, it doesn't matter what it is in its intricacies, but the mission can be anything that aligns with you just being better and doing better. And when you get to that stage, the opportunities that present themselves off the back of you creating strategic partnerships that make sense is endless. Honestly, it's endless. And then also expert commentary. So contributed articles, opinion pieces, thought leadership, all those things. It creates permanent evidence of your expertise. And I already mentioned that when you are in a position where you provide those thought leadership pieces and those bylines as well, those are the things that are on Google search results as and when people search your name or they click on the news section. They can see your content, they can see your topics, they can see what you wrote about, they can see your thought leadership pieces on all the things that you are passionate about and that you are an expert in, and it really reinforces you as an asset. And speaking of asset, these assets that you have built and that you have developed as a result remain searchable and discoverable long after the actual publication has published the actual piece, right? So working for you every time, it works for you every time. Every time. When I secured an opportunity with PR Daily and my article went across to various different people in the US, right? I couldn't believe that there was someone who actively reached out to me and connected with me and also published my article on their Insta story just to highlight that they really appreciated the topic that I spoke about. And for me to then reestablish all the things that I've been talking about for years, really and truly, years I've been talking about this. But to see someone across the pond really highlight the work that I've been doing, it would never have been feasible had I not incorporated the aspect of PR. And as I said, that has increased the surface area of luck, because to have people within a whole new country recognizing my work, it ultimately increases that perceived level of credibility, because people are looking at me as someone that has something worth saying. If other people, not only within this country, but other countries, can recognize my work and my expertise. So that's why I say expert commentary is also incredibly important. So that's number five. Let's move on to number six. So we have awards and recognition, right? So awards provide external validation that becomes part of your credibility story, as I like to call it. They are trust signals that travel through proposals, through LinkedIn, through introductions, and remember, proof compounds when it is reused. So you being positioned and you are having an award for the work that you're doing, or you perceived as an expert, is a credibility marker that you are able to have. And when you have it, no one can take it away from you. And my personal example of that is when I was awarded a PR Week 30 Under 30 alongside with other amazing practitioners in the industry. And to have that as something that I've managed to achieve, right, is something as a credibility marker that I've been able to showcase my continuous dedication and love for the industry and the work that I'm doing on a daily basis. And I'll be working towards more awards in the future as well, just to continue to reinforce. But when you have that, it just really adds that level of credibility and additional layers that just makes you more lucky in the process. So, why PR compounds? So, this is where PR becomes genuinely powerful, right? So, most marketing disappears in some aspects, right? The PR side of things, it will always accumulate, it will always compound. And when you think of it like this, a podcast appearance will always remain online, right? A press feature will always remain searchable. When you search someone's name, you can search my name, you'll see all of the press features I've been involved with, right? A conference talk remains discoverable, right? An article will always remain indexed, especially through large language models. It will be scraped and also indexed on those AI platforms as well. And every piece of earned media becomes a permanent authority asset. And that's when you really need to be in the process of being able to reestablish and repurpose the content that you are able to get, right? As a way to continue to enhance that level of credibility through the work and your content that you are producing. So one podcast will lead to another. A journalist will find that podcast and they will ultimately include you in a feature because it lines up. And an event organizer will find the article and will invite you to speak. So it all compounds. And when you position it in a way that makes the most sense of you being able to reinforce and amplify your efforts, then you're always going to have more people that want to see more from you, that want to see you talk about other topics within your industry. They want to hear your opinion on different things. It's all relative. And that's what I say. Once you get to the compounding aspect of things, the surface area of luck, it just continues to increase. Like honestly, it continues to expand. And you just wouldn't have realized that because not many people really take PR as important, as something important, as something that is so important, as something that can really change the scope of your work and the trajectory of your career in that actual aspect as well. So with this, I want to say most people treat earned media as a moment. The smartest people treat it as an asset. And I want you to always think of any opportunity that you get through the aspect of earned media. I want you to treat it as an asset. So every mention, every appearance, every feature, every quote, every stage, a parent should become part of your authority ecosystem, right? And I always talk about the idea of your ecosystem all the time. Not posted once and forgotten. It should be something documented, repurposed, and built into your visibility permanently. And it needs to remain there so you can always reaffirm why you are the key person and the obvious choice through the content, right? So, how to increase your surface area of luck today? Start by auditing your current visibility. Google your name. Google your name on incognito mode and then see what comes up. See what is up already. Are you the only person when you search your name? Do you have other people who share the same name with you that is higher up in the search engine results? Do you have any particular press pieces already that you can see or that you can't see? Those are the sort of things that you need to do during the actual aspects of the audit. Then you have to think to yourself, okay, if I have these pieces of content, I consider them authority assets. How many authority assets do I have? How many people could find me through these particular assets, right? Is there a way that through this content, there are going to be a way that they can get directly to me based on that work that I'm producing or based on the level of credibility that's been publicized and documented. And then after that, you want to identify opportunities where your audience already gathers, right? And that can be the audience for your brand, or it could be the audience based on your ICP from a business brand perspective. So, what are the podcasts they listen to? What are the publications they read? What events do they attend? And what associations do they belong to as well? Those are the places worth getting into. They're worth connecting with people, and they're worth having an understanding of where you slot in into the whole aspect of the ecosystem and how you can connect with the right people and to reaffirm why you are here and why you are here to showcase the work that you're doing. And then also pitch yourself for opportunities, pitch yourself for podcasts, pitch yourself for different press opportunities. Get yourself out there. Trust me. You do not need to be famous to be a credible guest in any sort of circumstance. You just need a clear point of view and a relevant audience. And you need something that you are able to be passionate about, where you can showcase and share your story to the world. And then with that, write one expert commentary piece. So get into the idea of just doing thought leadership pieces and writing on behalf of publications as well. And even better, if you wanted to attract your actual ICP and target them, write within their publications, write topics and things that are relevant to them that will also make them feel like they would want to get in touch with you directly, because they understand that you understand them, but then you also have the actual aspects of your work that you are able to highlight and share to help them in the process of helping them achieve their dream outcome in the process as well. And then through that, stay prepared. Luck favors preparation, but preparation is useless if it is buried, right? Have your bio ready, have your headshots ready, have your talking points ready, have your expertise articulated sharply, because when the opportunity arises where you're able to talk about all those things, you want to be ready, and you want to be ready to do it in the way that will make you memorable, in a way where you can treat that opportunity as an authority asset. And I suppose the final thought from me is that PR is not a vanity exercise. I know sometimes it could be perceived as much because of the way that some people view it, but ultimately you can really change your life with being able to incorporate the level of PR and third party credibility into your content system to continue to reiterate why you are the best person for the job, why you are the key person of influence and the obvious choice. So you need to remember, it is not about chasing attention or just collecting logos. PR is the organized expansion of the places where your expertise can meet opportunity. Every relationship expands your network, right? Every piece of earned media expands your credibility. Every platform expands your discoverability. That's what I'm saying. Have an idea of all the platforms you want to be positioned in, because each one will play a position when it comes down to you being more known and being more recognized for the work that you're doing. And every authority asset expands your surface area of luck, right? So just to round it up, I will say the market cannot reward expertise it cannot find. PR makes your expertise findable, and when expertise becomes visible, luck becomes far less random, right? So that's it for this particular video. I hope that you found it incredibly useful, and I hope that you now look at PR as something that is extremely important and impactful in the process of you being able to not only build a revenue generating brand, but being able to build a brand that is built on a level of authority that no one can ever take away from you. So please like the video if you enjoyed this one. Please comment if you had any questions as well. Happy to help where I can. And also, please do make sure that you subscribe, as I upload every day, right? Every single day, I upload a new video, and I'm sure that there'll be something that will help you to continue to build your level of brand authority to make you more visible and credible to your desired target audience. But on that note, peace out, look after yourself, and I'll catch you tomorrow. See you later.